Welcome to Show Me the Nuggets, where each week Joe chats with world-class entrepreneurs to find out the key principles, strategies, and processes that lie behind their outstanding achievements. Now, your host, the no-bullshit serial entrepreneur, Joe Troyer.
Hey everybody, it's Joe Troyer, and welcome to another episode of Show Me the Nuggets. Today's going to be a little different. I have a SaaS founder on today's call that's built a marketing SaaS, and I'm really excited to bend his ear and talk about what's worked and what hasn't worked and his aha moments building this company. And it got started as a digital marketing agency. So he's got a background just like so many people here that watch today's show or watch this show. And I'm really excited to chat with him because his software, his company called GreyMetrics, I believe has a potential to be a disruptor in the industry. They run white label reporting and dashboards and reporting for Facebook and Google and all the major traffic platforms out there, and analytics and Google Search Console and all those, right? And that industry, I think, has been waiting for a disruption for quite some time. And what I mean by that is everything's just kind of old. The user interfaces suck, but our clients count on them, right? They take forever to load, right? But we gotta be able to see results, be able to see KPIs for our clients, but also for us to make sure that we're on target. And these platforms, they just aren't very good, and they cost a boatload of money. In fact, at Invisible PPC, pick one of those logos. At Invisible PPC, we spend upwards of $100,000 a year just on reporting technology for our clients and their end customers. That's ridiculous. And it's ridiculous to not be satisfied. So I'm really excited to bring on GreyMetrics today and to pick their brains because we're looking at moving everything that we can to GreyMetrics as they continue to do more and more integrations that they got a boatload right now. I think we need like literally one or two more features, and we're looking at moving all of our customers over to GreyMetrics. So if you're unhappy with your reporting platform, you're paying way too much and you know it, or you're just like, yeah, I really need a reporting dashboard, check out GreyMetrics. And no, today's episode is going to be a little different. It's going to be really pointed, really to the point. I'm going to ask a bunch of direct questions, but there's going to be takeaways for you no matter what type of business you're in. So I hope you guys like this different type of episode. Leave me some comments, leave me some feedback. What do you think of this? Should we do some more of this? I hope you guys enjoy it. Let's get to it. So guys, I'm super excited for today's episode because it's a little bit of a change up. It's a little bit of a breath of fresh air. I'm really excited. Today's guest is Abhishek Ekbote, and I'm really excited to really talk with Abhishek about one of his projects, but although he's got a couple of really interesting projects going on. So Abhishek, welcome officially to the show. Really excited to have you here.
Hey, great to be here, Joe.
So Abhishek, my team did some research. Obviously, you're the founder of GreyMetrics, one of the big white label reporting dashboard kind of softwares out there. We're going to talk about that a lot. But you also founded Videoform, and I know that you have a background in being a kind of a full service or full scale digital agency. Before we dive too deep, can you give us a little background on how you ended up in this digital marketing world?
So, hey, thanks everyone for tuning in. So I was in insurance operations. I managed a multinational health insurance company's insurance operations back in India. So I was managing about a team of 65. I was doing it for about 5 years. And then someday it hit me that I had to actually get into startups. So one fine day, I kind of decided that I'll just quit my job and I'll get into startups. So we kind of once I did that, I made that jump. I kind of assumed that, what you do at corporate level is so much similar to what you do in startups. And that's where I learned the big lesson that we failed super miserably and we burnt a lot of money on the first startup right there. And that effectively became a learning ground for us. During that startup, we kind of spent a lot of money on ads. We did a lot of marketing, online, organic, offline, and a lot of things.
Awesome. So then fast forward to today, and it seems like, man, you've got quite the impressive track record as a founder. It seems like since about 2016, it seems like you guys have been building businesses and software businesses right and left.
Yeah, that's it's kind of easy to do because you're based in India and you kind of have the talent, and we have a decent amount of tech talent out here. And now that we've actually got into marketing, we were able to discover a lot of problems that marketers faced on a day-to-day basis. So effectively, that's how we got started with GreyMetrics. We kind of spoke with a lot of marketers, and we understood that reporting was one of those biggest pain points that they were facing. And eventually, that combined with the pandemic kind of led us to this new product called Videoform, where marketers specifically told us that conversion was their biggest headache right now, and they had to do it with a more personal touch, and that's how we got to Videoform right now.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. So let's talk about video form. Let's dive in. What do you mean by that personal touch? Explain a little bit what video form does.
Right. So Videoform basically what it does is, I mean, you kind of think of it in two ways, right? One is you kind of think of it as a chatbot, but with your face on it. So in a chatbot, you kind of get those answers and all that automated way, but here you're actually showing your face to a customer on your website, and it does the exact job that a bot does. But every time that it actually does that, it actually interacts with the customer on a personal level. You can actually record videos, and that bot does the exact same thing. And on top of it, the second way that you can actually look at it is most sales folks typically tend to send cold emails. Their whole game lies around emailing and keeping in touch with their prospects and all, right? So here's what we did is we built in a plugin which directly sits inside of Gmail, and they can actually record video inside Gmail and send it across. So that's what Videoform is all about. It's about personalizing your interactions either on your website or on your emails. So what we're trying to say here is add a human touch to your marketing and sales.
I love it, man. Such a simple concept, but so powerful. Obviously, everything's about personalization and scaling personalization these days. I think that's where we're headed. I think in terms of sales and customer service, I think it's huge. So super excited for us to be playing with video form as well.
Hey, real quick, before we dive into the rest of this episode, real quick, I promise my team and I would like to personally thank you, our audience, yes, you listening right now, for all the amazing support that you guys have been giving the podcast. The growth has been just crazy, and I want you to know that we're super appreciative to you. So we've been trying to think of something cool that we could do to give back to our audience, to give back to you guys. And I think we've come up with something that's really unique. It's something that's special. So here's the thing. The team here at Digital Triggers, my own little team here, has decided that we're going to give away a gift pack that includes our top of the line resources to sell SEO, right? We know that so many of you guys out there are agencies. This is going to literally give you contracts, proposals, pitches, scripts that you guys can use, outreach templates. It's a pack of assets and collateral for anybody wanting to sell SEO services or marketing services to any type of business, not just local businesses. This has been used to land e-com deals, all kinds of deals out there. So if you didn't hear that, let me make it a little more clear. Okay, our Digital Triggers family is giving you some of the best of the content and the resources that we've ever put together, absolutely free, just for listening to the podcast. Okay, all that you have to do is go to digitaltriggers.io/gift pack. And you are good to go, folks. It is that simple. We'll make sure that this page is up and ready for you guys by the time this episode airs. And with that being said, let's get back to the episode. All right. That was all right. I think that went okay.
I want to talk about GreyMetrics, and that's what I really want to focus on today, though. The reason is because, like you, I think that there's a huge opportunity in the marketplace. I think that a huge need from agency owners is reporting. So I'm really curious, from your point of view, what was the problem and the point of view that you were trying to solve when you came out with GreyMetrics? Obviously, it wasn't just reporting, because there's a ton of reporting platforms out there, right? And I'm sure you didn't want to be just like them. What was kind of the unique positioning for GreyMetrics?
Right. So most of our positioning actually came in from the discussions that we had with our initial customers. So the key point that we understood with many of the reporting platforms that typically marketers use is it has a bit of a learning curve. So you have to basically undergo a little bit of training, get used to how it works and all that. So that kind of felt like the most troubling problem for us, and we kind of doubled down on that, and we kind of picked that we have to basically not be like any other platform and just make it like super intuitive that everyone is actually used to all these days. So we kind of focused on the user experience part where I mean anybody can just log in and you don't need any help article whatsoever in order to generate a report and modify it to the way that you want. So that's how we kind of differentiate from like majority of the dashboard solutions out in the market.
I love that. I have a coffee cup that says user interfacer like a joke. If you have to explain it, it isn't any good.
That's
So
about right.
that's so great. That's so great. Yeah, you got a good product when somebody can onboard successfully without as you said, articles from the help desk to walk them through. So that's fantastic. So the gap in the market you thought was reporting. What do you think are the major use cases? Like, what do you think that marketers are reporting the most these days with GreyMetrics? What are the platforms or what are the KPIs? What are the things that they really care about the most?
The most popular platform seems to be Facebook for now. I think there's a lot of, I think the bias is that majority of the users that use GreyMetrics are social media marketers. So the typical KPIs that most people are still tracking are the ROI numbers. These are the boring numbers that everybody still tracks. What's the revenue, what's the number of clicks, and how many visitors are you getting, and what's the trend looking like? Are you getting more conversions by the day?
Yeah, I was taking a look. It seems like you guys integrate with Facebook, you guys integrate with Google Analytics. It seems like quite a few other integrations as well. Can you talk a little bit about kind of some of the main integrations that you guys have or the types of integrations that you have as well?
So GreyMetrics basically today integrates with about 22 different platforms. It has a bunch of integrations with Facebook, like everything that Facebook does: Facebook ads, Facebook page, Instagram ads, and all of that, and a lot of Google properties too, like Google Search Console, ads, analytics, YouTube. I mean, most of the Google properties per se too, and a bunch of email marketing platforms like Mailchimp, SendGrid, and MoveSend, some of these platforms too. And we've got a couple of platforms like Shopify and WooCommerce for the e-commerce marketers specifically. So on top of it, the most used, I would say, I mean, apart from the social media channels, is Google Sheets. People want to push their own data into dashboards and reports. So that's one of the most used integrations. So you can put a data on Google Sheet, and you can just visualize it super beautifully using GreyMetrics.
Awesome. I got to say, you said super beautifully. That's not an understatement. I think you guys have done a great job with the user interface. I know not picking on NinjaCat, but we use NinjaCat, and I think their user interface was probably built in 1995 and probably hasn't been updated since. So I think your user interface has been really refreshing for us as we start to play with it and see what it would take to roll that out customer wide for all of our white label PPC customers at Invisible PPC. So great job on that. I'm curious, talking about the marketing side a little bit of GreyMetrics. When you look at what's worked so far for you guys, what's worked, maybe what hasn't worked as well as you thought?
We wanted content marketing to do much better much earlier. So I think we kind of are still a little impatient is what I believe. Our blog gets a little bit of traffic. But what's more interesting for me is we used, because we have tech talent, we kind of used engineering as marketing. We built like smaller tools like SERP simulator, like, how does my search result look on Google? I mean, if you type in SERP simulator, like GreyMetrics' result is in the top 3 or 4. So this kind of brings us a lot of traffic, and people typically get to understand that there is this reporting tool, and that brings us in a lot of signups into the funnel for us today.
Yeah, I love that. You guys leaned on obviously your tech talent to be able to do that, where a lot of other companies would probably look at it and be like, yeah, that's kind of a distraction, or that might cost too much money, or we have to go find a different team to do this. So I love that you guys played to your strengths. I did do some research, and I saw that quite a while ago you guys did a lifetime offer. I'm curious, as a founder, what do you think about lifetime offers? Would you recommend that people try them or don't try them? What was your experience with that?
I think it largely depends on the goals that you have. So our goal typically was to get a lot of audience to try out the app in a very short time. So we wanted to get like about 500,000 people trying out the app so that we could just iron out all the bugs and make it super stable in a very short period. So in order for us to actually do that in a normal circumstance, would have taken us about 6 months to 8 months or maybe a year to get to that stage. To do it faster, we went with a lifetime deal. Effectively, we've got about 1,000 signups during that period, and that effectively we've solved about like 500 odd bugs in the system, effectively making our system super stable during the 3 month period. So again, if you are in it for cash, I wouldn't recommend it. If you're trying to make a quick buck out of a lifetime deal, absolutely don't do it. It sounds counterintuitive, but that's the reality, right? So
Yeah, I think it makes
getting,
perfect sense. So you're saying if you're doing it for cash, you're probably going about it incorrectly, right? But if you're doing it to really make sure that you have product market fit, right, and to figure out bugs and to iron out the issues that could potentially be worth your time.
right. And also, I could say this, right? I mean, the most important thing that happened to us with that lifetime deal was that we actually got talking to about 150 marketers in a span of 30 days. And that insight, the insights that these marketers, I mean, very accomplished marketers across the globe, that these guys gave us, I mean, that is invaluable. Like I would measure that like far greater than any kind of money that a lifetime deal would give.
Perfect. That's awesome. Yeah, that's really important and great feedback from somebody that's offered a lifetime. So great feedback there. I definitely agree with your takeaways as well. What's working today in terms of marketing? When you look at new users signing up, where are those users coming from? What's working? What's not?
Majority of our users come from organic sources because, like I said, I mean, we built some engineering as marketing tools, and we focus a little bit on the content. So both of these working in tandem for us right now, and there's a little bit of referrals that still go on, word of mouth that spreads from our existing customers. So these three are the biggest channels for us right now. So we haven't dabbled with paid ads yet, but I think that's something that we have planned to do in the next couple of months.
I gotcha. It seemed like you guys were doing pretty well with G2 Crowd as well. You guys were ranked pretty well there. How has that worked or maybe not worked as a potential referral source?
Right. G2 does help. I think having that social proof on on the website per se also is important, and we get a ton of traffic from G2 too. Because if you look at in marketing analytics category, I mean we rank about 25 or 30. This and again, marketing analytics doesn't necessarily mean only reporting per se. The number one is HubSpot out there, and there's a bunch of tools out there. So we've been consistently ranked twice now, in summer and in fall, as a high performer on G2. So I think a bunch of users think that we're great, and they kind of show some love on G2, and like.
That's awesome. So do you think that you're getting lots of signups from G2, or do you think you're getting more social proof from G2? Would you say it's more of a conversion mechanism for you guys, like just getting more traffic that comes to you, that social proof to actually then convert into a paying customer? Or do you think it's more a lead gen source for you guys, or a mix of the two? How would you classify that activity?
I wouldn't say it is lead gen for today. I think it's more of an awareness kind of a platform today. People do compare us with multiple other tools. I mean, quite a few though. But I'd say that I'd rather lean on the piece of social proof more than the lead gen piece for today. But I see as we go forward, G2 will become a major source of leads for us as we go forward. Though I mean, right now it is not, but I see that in the future it will become one of the channels.
Gotcha. Any tips on how you guys got ranked? Obviously, 35 in such a big category. If you were to do that again, kind of how would you re-engineer that, or what were your takeaways from doing so well?
So I think our purely, I mean, the kind of emailing that we typically do, we kind of send emails to customers who have hit a few success factors in our app. So if they've completed like 4 or 5 reports, if they've generated about 5 reports, we know for sure that they've done really well and they kind of like the tool by then. So we kind of pick those emails and we kind of send them, especially after they've finished their 5th or 6th report, we kind of use to send this on Tuesdays at 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. When they're kind of a little bit of free, so that they take 5-10 minutes out to write us a review on G2. So that's been the strategy where we kind of first focus on getting them to few success metrics in the app, and then get the timing right when we send the email.
I love it. So simple, right? But so effective. I'm sure like your conversion rate on leaving a review has to be so high because you're only going after people that have hit those success metrics. So I love that. So Abhishek, we're going to have lots of marketers that listen to this podcast. There's obviously, like we talked about, there's lots of different reporting tools out there. For those people listening thinking, hey, GreyMetrics might be right for me, who would you say, yeah, I'd go check out GreyMetrics, and who would you say maybe, it's not the best tool for you, right? It's not certainly a one size fits all. So what advice would you give somebody listening?
If you're a social media marketer, I think I would like blindly say that go ahead and pick up GreyMetrics. I think you shouldn't even think twice. You just go try it out. There's a free trial, and you would understand what I'm saying in like about 15 minutes or so. You just go, try out the tool. I think if it's not super easy, then it's not for you. And 99 out of 100 times you find it super easy.
I love that. If it's not super easy for you, then it's not for you. Yeah. So that's great, man. So intuitive of an app for sure. I definitely know. Within minutes, I know that I had created my first dashboard. So that's fantastic, man. So parting shot, with all of your success and all of your failures so far, if somebody was to follow in your footsteps, or you were to tell your earlier self, right, dating back to 2015 or 2016, what advice would you give them?
I'd say that I should have read Lean Startup in 2015. I shouldn't have waited till 2018 or 19 to read Lean Startup, OKRs, and all of these stuff. I got in much later, and I wish I was wiser enough earlier in the game. So, and I wish I had worked a couple of years in a startup before actually starting out on my own.
That's awesome. And you might have just answered my last question too. So at the end of every podcast episode, I ask somebody to take a look or to think about their business. And I ask them, what's the one book that's made the biggest impact on the way that you do business, and why?
I'd actually say that off late, I've been following Naval Ravikant, the founder of AngelList, for a while. I think I kind of like his philosophy and stuff. But I think I've recently found this book called The Almanac of Naval Ravikant. It's got a bunch of his tweets and all of his thoughts and collections out there. I think this kind of has become my religious book. I kind of open a couple of pages now and then. I kind of read it and then get myself a little straighter, and then go back to my work on the day.
Perfect. I'll definitely have to check that out. We'll add that to the reading list. We'll put that in the show notes as well. Man, Abhishek, I just want to say thank you. This has been awesome. I know that so many of my customers, so many of the customers at Invisible PPC, to be honest, are overpaying for their white label reporting platforms. I know we're spending literally thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars a month for ourselves internally. And I know so many of our customers are paying that as well. And so I'm super excited about where you're going with GreyMetrics and the opportunity. I think it's a huge refresh to what's available out there right now. And I'm super excited to save some money, have a better looking platform that is more intuitive and that my customers like even better. So I'm really excited to be working with you a little closer and see if we can't port over and move over all of our existing dashboards over to you guys. So, man, I'm really looking forward to working together.
Looking forward, Joe. I'm happy to help you with any problems that you have in that.
All right, guys. I can't recommend that you check out GreyMetrics anymore. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Show Me the Nuggets. Joe Troyer signing out.
Thanks for tuning in to Show Me the Nuggets. If you've been enjoying the podcast and find our content helpful, please visit our Apple Podcast page, hit the subscribe button, and leave us a review. Joe and the whole team have been working hard to bring more value to the show. Your feedback will go a long way in helping us make the show better and reach a wider audience.